because I was struck by what she said, the Princess of Wales. I'm making good progress, but as anyone going through chemotherapy will know, there are good days and bad days. On the bad days, you feel weak, when you are tired, you have to give in to your body resting. But on the good days, when you feel stronger, you want to make the most of feeling well. My treatment is ongoing and will be for a few more months. On the days I feel well enough, it's a joy to engage with school life, spend personal time with things that give me energy and positivity, as well as starting to do a little work from home. And then she then detailed she may attend some events and how grateful she was for everyone's support and understanding. Reading between the lines there, because there's no royal statement that's ever made, this accidental in its phraseology. What did you make of that?
Piers, I thought it was inspiratory, and I'll tell you for several reasons why. It was great to see her. I think she looked vital. I think it's her own hair, and I'll explain what that means medically in a minute. I thought her photography is back in form, and I think she sent a message of good cheer, positivity, and hope to the public, which the world badly needs right now. It's actually what the role of the royals is in the UK, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think everyone responded with good cheer to this. The medical part is, I've been saying from the beginning that I was suspicious that this could be a GI cancer that was found serendipitously if they were operating on her for inflammatory bowel disease. Why do I think that? Because she had complications after that surgery. And yes, you could find a colon cancer coincidentally during there in a pathology and decide to give 3 to 6 months of chemo. Here's the point. The kind of chemo you get then is milder than if it were gynecological cancer like ovarian, where you give something called Taxol, where you lose your hair and you get a lot sicker. Now, this is not confirmatory. And Piers, I wish they would come out and tell us which exact cancer it was, because that will help me and everyone else educate the public for surveillance, for screening, what to look out for. I think they should go all the way with this.
No, the royal family were never going to do that. They were never going to do that. They would never, ever even think for 1 second to do that. So, nah. But what do you think? Do you think they should come out, and do you think this man is right? Does the royal family have to come out and talk about the kind of cancer Kate have, how she noticed it, the symptoms she has, how people could notice it, and how people could seek for help? I think a lot of people will find that more in tune with them. They will connect with ordinary folks like that than this secrecy stuff. But anyway, let's continue.
But in the meantime, I felt it was an inspiratory appearance.
Yeah, I mean, I thought she looked pretty well, considering what she's been through. She looked, I have to say, pretty thin, like she'd been through a real ringer health-wise. And I was struck by that. She looked, quite gaunt. And I say that as someone who just wants her to be as healthy again as she could possibly be. But is that completely natural with any form of cancer at that kind of age?
Yeah, I think so. And that speaks to your earlier point that chemo hits hard no matter what kind it is. I'm downplaying it a bit here, and I shouldn't. She looks consistent with someone who has some type of underlying disease requiring that surgery, prolonged recovery from surgery, and then weeks and weeks of some kind of chemo. I think that that fit with, as you say, looking a little gaunt, a little bit pale. But again, she could have looked a lot sicker than that.
To be fair with Kate, Kate has always been very thin. She has always been very, very thin. So if you're thin like that, and then you have a cancer that's detected early, obviously I was expecting her to be very much even thinner than that. Like if you go back to my page, there's a video I made about their last day in a lodge in some place in England. It came out in the news, and I made a reaction about it. She looked extremely sick in that picture. She looked very thin, and she has always been thin, so it's nothing new. Anyway, let's carry on.
And I admire the courage of her coming out.
What did you think about King Charles? He's also obviously going through extensive treatment for his cancer. How did you think he looked?
I think also, don't forget, he's a lot older. I mean, she's 42. I mean, I thought also he looked fairly good. My theory on King Charles, and again, I'd like to know exactly what he has. I don't think they do us enough of a service saying, well, we have cancer, but we're not going to tell you the kind. King Charles was found with a treatment for a benign prostatic hypertrophy and large prostate. And usually when you find something serendipitously during that investigation, it's probably bladder cancer. Now, bladder, if he's getting the treatments that they instill into the bladder, is not as strong a treatment as what Princess Kate is getting. And, he's been more public in his appearances than she has. Again, I don't have proof of any of this, but it's fitting a pattern. I think his cancer is not as severe as hers is, or was. Hers may be completely gone. But again, I think he's looking fairly good considering ongoing treatments.
Right.
True. True. It's important for the royal family to come out clean with people and tell the people what kind of cancer they have, because I feel like this is going to make people to understand their mother and better and relate to them much in a more calmer and more friendly manner instead of being hostile. King Charles, I'm very skeptical personally about his cancer diagnosis and announcement. I think is to garner sympathy. Personally, that is my own personal opinion. I don't think King Charles had cancer, one bit, because his age and he has cancer and he's going about doing all this activity as someone that something is off there. But let me know what you think in the comment section.
In America, if you had the president, for argument's sake, by comparison, and the president's daughter-in-law, both diagnosed with cancer, would they reveal what cancer it was? Would there be a clamour for them to do that? Would it be expected?
I mean, listen, Peira, you know, you're seeing our president being led off the stage by the former president, you know, like taking him by the hand. They're obviously not revealing what's going on with him now.
Right.
But yeah, we would be clamoring for it. We would be clamoring for full disclosure. It's a different situation, right? Because in the UK, they're not officially leading, but again, they're leading by example and they're leading by inspiration. But no, we have cover-ups here all the time on presidential health, and it doesn't do the public any good.
Yeah, I agree. Dr. Mark, great to see you. Thank you very much.
Great to see you, Peira. Thank you.
Sarah, let's start with you.
Great intake from the doctor, great analysis, great discussion, great point. I think it doesn't do anybody any service for them to keep this thing private. I understand you want privacy, you want to be protected, you want this thing, but you have to understand you're a public figure. And you're a public figure in the arena that you are not even elected. You're an unelected official. So you're just a public figure based on the fact that people have to sort of look up to you in some regards. So it's very important in that area to be honest and come clean with people and tell them, see, this is what I'm going through. This is what is happening. This is the stage it's at. You know, it will help a lot of people to even come around and give you that support that you need. Believe me,